On the armor of the legendary T-34, there's one mysterious detail that still sparks debate. Strange metal cylinders no one could fully explain. Some said they were useless scrap. Others whispered that they hid a secret someone once paid a heavy price for. Why did these cylinders strike fear into the enemy? Why would tank crews fake their own destruction? And how could a simple metal tube decide the fate of an entire battle? Those odd cylinders mounted on the sides and rear, people have mistaken them for everything. Spare parts, cooling units, even secret weapons. But there's a clear, documented answer, and it's far more fascinating than it seems. Take a closer look at the back of the tank. Just below the turret, you'll notice short metal cylinders. At first glance, nothing special, but those pieces could mean the difference between life and death for an entire crew. They were smoke canisters, BDSH-5s. Each weighed about 50 kilograms and could be ignited electrically or by a simple strike of a firing pin. 30 seconds later, a thick, white cloud would engulf the area, about 200 by 200 meters wide, hiding the tank completely. To the enemy, it looked as if the T-34 had simply vanished into the fog. For 10 minutes, that invisibility held. Confusion, lost aim, broken communication, everything a tank crew needed to escape, maneuver, or strike back from an unexpected angle. These smoke canisters weren't unique to the T-34 either. They were used on other Soviet tanks, even the post-war T-44. Simple devices, but devastatingly effective. Yet Soviet tankers had an even trickier trick up their sleeve. They also used smoke canisters that produced black smoke. Instead of mounting them outside, they'd toss them through the hatch onto the engine deck. Within seconds, thick black smoke poured out, making the tank look destroyed. The enemy would stop firing, assuming the job was done. But inside, the crew was still alive, repairing damage or preparing to strike back. A simple ruse, but on the battlefield, it saved countless lives and turned the tide of more than one fight. Today, those old smoke canisters are long gone. Modern tanks use thermal smoke systems and launchers like the Tucha. Still, any mechanic will tell you, inject a little diesel into the exhaust and the tank will disappear in smoke, just like in the olden days. Now, let's return to the other cylinders running along the sides of the T-34. These were different, longer, sturdier, built for something far more vital. Inside them was what kept every tank alive: fuel. These external fuel tanks, called marching fuel drums, were used as reserves for long-distance movement. They weren't connected to the main fuel system. Crews had to transfer the fuel manually during stops. On the front lines, where fuel stations didn't exist, this could mean survival. Sometimes, one tank in a column was turned into a donor. Instead of diesel, it carried oil in its external tank, supplying the rest of the unit. Improvisation like this kept Soviet armor rolling when everything else seemed impossible. Before battle, though, those external tanks were always emptied. No one wanted to be turned into a fireball by a single hit. Once drained, the tanks were either removed or filled with sand to serve as extra armor. Ironically, what once could explode now helped protect the crew from enemy shells. Details like these often go unnoticed in wartime photos, yet they were what made the T-34 more than just a tank. Every bolt and bracket carried a story of ingenuity, adaptation, and survival. While the enemy was still wondering what those strange cylinders were for, our crews already knew. They were tools to disappear, deceive, refuel, and keep moving forward. And that's why the T-34 became more than just the tank of victory. It became a symbol of intelligence and courage, forged in steel.
A veces, dentro de una columna, un tanque era convertido en un verdadero donante. En sus depósitos no se llenaba diésel, sino aceite. Servía a los demás, manteniendo a toda la unidad operativa. En plena guerra, esa clase de improvisación podía decidirlo todo. Los tanquistas soviéticos siempre encontraban una salida, incluso en las situaciones más desesperadas. Antes de cada combate, esos depósitos se vaciaban. Nadie quería que un proyectil los convirtiera en una trampa ardiente. Los tanques vacíos se retiraban o se llenaban de arena para que sirvieran como protección adicional. Paradójicamente, lo que antes podía explotar, ahora protegía del fuego enemigo. Son detalles que pocos notan en las fotos de la época, pero eran precisamente esos pequeños detalles los que convertían al T-34 en algo más que un tanque. Cada pieza reflejaba la lógica del ingeniero, la astucia del soldado y la experiencia de quienes sabían que sobrevivir dependía de decisiones simples pero inteligentes. Mientras el enemigo se preguntaba para qué servían esos extraños cilindros, los soviéticos ya los usaban para esconderse, engañar, reabastecerse y seguir avanzando. Por eso, el T-34 no fue solo una máquina de guerra, sino un símbolo de ingenio y valentía, forjado en acero.